Okay, packet tracer, explore network. Okay. See. So it's already 10:04. Okay. So same topology. Okay, so explore network. Okay, so this is a simulation activity. Okay, so objectives of this packet tracer is part 1 is examine internetwork traffic at branch. Then part 2 examine internetwork traffic to central. Okay. Then part 3 is examine internet traffic from branch. Branch traffic. So background is this simulation activity is intended to help you understand the flow of traffic and the contents of data packets as they traverse a complex network. So communications will be examined at 3 different locations, simulating typical business and home networks. Okay, so take a few moments to study the topology displayed. The central location has 3 routers. Let's see. Okay, we have 3 routers connected by copper straight through cable. Okay. So the central location has 3 routers, multiple networks possibly representing different buildings within the campus. And multiple networks. Okay. So the branch location has only 1 router with connection to both internet and dedicated wide area network. So the branch location, okay, connected to the internet and dedicated wide area network. Connection to the central location. Okay. So the location, we have a connection to the central wide area network connection. Then the home office makes use of cable modem broadband connection to provide access to both the internet and the corporate resources over the internet. The devices at each location use a combination of static and dynamic addressing. So the devices are configured with default gateways, the DNS information as appropriate. Cable provider. It's a cloud. Then it is connected to a router. Okay. Now, so for part 1 is examine internetwork traffic at branch. I will be starting here. So in part 1 of this activity, we'll use simulation mode to generate web traffic and examine the HTTP protocol along with other protocols necessary for communications. So step 1 is switching from real time to simulation mode. Okay, so we need to click this simulation mode here. So, and then verify ARP, DNS, HTTP, and TCP are selected from event list filters. Okay, so it is already set. So move the slider located below the play controls. I think so. Buttons back, auto play. Okay, so we already have play controls. The slide. For what? So we have the slider here. All the way to the right. Okay. All the way to the right. So step 2 is generate traffic using web browser. So currently the simulation panel is empty. So in the event list at the top of the simulation panel, there are 6 columns listed across the heading. Okay. There are 6, but there are only 5. Okay. So I think this is for the box. Okay. So traffic is generated. As traffic is generated, step through event display in the list. So the info column, where is the info column? It's used to inspect the contents of particular event. That's the info column. This is right now. Okay, note the panel to the left of the simulation panel displays the topology. The panel to the left of simulation panel. Okay, displays the topology. Use the scroll bars to bring the branch location into the panel. Necessarily, the panels can be adjusted in size by hovering next to the scroll bar and dragging left to right. Okay, so just focus on the branch server. Okay, click the sales piece in the far left pane. So click desktop in web browser. So under your field, so enter the branch server.pt and PK. Go. So, desktop server. Then go. So we have the DNS and ARP. So what is the first type of event listed? We have the DNS. So in the out layers, DNS listed for layer 7. Layer 4 is using UDP. Okay, so click the DNS info box. In the out layers, DNS is listed for layer 7. UDP is for layer 4. DNS port, destination port 53. Also the IP address, source and IP address are listed, but information missing to communicate with the DNS server. We have the layer 2, so the MAC address. Okay, so we don't have the layer 2 address. So click auto capture plate in approximately 30 to 40 seconds. In approximately 30, a window displays indicating the completion of current simulation. Okay, make the previous events button up. Click auto capture play. One. Oops. So an approximately 30 to 40 window displays indicating numbers. Wait. Okay. This is for the DNS layer. TCP. This is HTTP. TCP. Another for TCP. Buffer full. Okay. Indicate operation of or window may display. Okay. Proof equals this. Okay. See. Okay, successfully. Okay. So click previous scroll back to the top of the list and note the number of ARP events. Looking at the device, column the event list, how many devices in the branch location does the ARP request pass to. Let's see. We have ARP requests. Number of ARP events. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 ARP events How many devices does the upper request pass through? Okay, let's see. So I have the sales, IP phone, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 devices. So next, how many devices? So first one is the sales, then IP phone, S4, by server, IP phone 1, laser, wireless app, R4, guest, and counting. Where's the counting? Okay. Smartphone, IP phone, then sales. Okay, so it's a broadcast message. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be 8. Or should be 7. Ano siya? Pa!
Sino mo yung short yan?
Saan po?
Sino yan? Grabe yung short yun. Kulete, may nalagay na kami.
Army? Wala.
Short na army. Ako yun mo. Ako dito. Ba't yan? Anong short? Short ba yan? Ha? Ba't yan? Yan isa. Ano isa? Yan.
Next.
Kiyata na yun. Anong lagay din eh? Karamihan, no?
Nata.
Ano yun?
Now, scroll down the events in the list to the series of DNS events. Select the DNS event that has the app device listed as branch servers. Okay, DNS server. Okay, we have the branch server. Okay. So click the square. Okay. Click the square, let's see. What can be determined by selecting layer 7 in the OSI model? Below layer 7. What can be determined by selecting layer 7? It's a DNS. Select the DNS. Source port, destination port 53. So about we have the answer. Right. What do you mean by directly below in layers? What can be determined by selecting layer 7 those? Layer 7 or DNS message, the query, and the another query. So we're requesting for the server, the name server. Recording right. So next is click the outbound PD details. So what is the address displayed? Let's see. So we have an IP address of 172.16.03. So I think it is the address of the brand server. So next is, so the next several events are TCP events, enabling a communication channel to be established. So select the last TCP event at device sales just prior to the HTTP event. So click the color square info box to display the PD information. Highlight layer 4 in the index column, look at item 6. In the index, what's the connection state? Okay, let's see. So lots of TCP here. What TCP? At device sales. There is no 6. Sales. This one. Okay. TCP. Okay, so it's now established. Layer 4 in layers column. Okay. Looking at it since, okay, what's the connection state? We have established. The device is TCP. Okay, acknowledge, synchronize plus acknowledge. TCP connection is successful. Now the device sets the connection state to establish. So the next several events are HTTP events. Select any one of the HTTP events at intermediary device. How many layers are active at one of this device? I have IP phone switch. Okay. Let's see for S4. How many? We have only 2. No. S4. Let's see for. We only have layer 2 addresses. No. So they're at one of these devices. So we have 2 layers. So select the last HTTP event at the sales PC. Okay. So select the uppermost layers from OS 500. What is the result listed below in layers? So the HTTP client receives a HTTP reply from the server. It displays the page in the web browser. Okay. So the page is now displayed. Okay, now it is displayed. Server sends back an HTTP reply. Okay. So it receives HTTP request. Then for out layers, it sends back a HTTP reply. Then it traversed S4, then IP phone 0, and then for the sales. Now the sales now display the web page. Now part 2 is examine internet network traffic to Central. So in part of this activity, we'll use PT simulation mode to view and examine how traffic leaving the local network is handled. Okay. It's an internet network. Okay. So set up traffic capture to the central web server. So close any video information window. Okay. So need to close this. Click reset simulation. Then located near the middle of the simulation panel. So type HTTP central server in the web browser of the CSP again. Okay. In the sales PC. Okay. Do that. We just copy this one. Okay. So it's a DNS again. So click auto capture play in approximately 75 seconds and it displays indicating the completion of the current simulation. So click view previous events, scroll back to the top of the list. Note that the first series of events are DNS and there are no ARP entries prior to contacting the branch server. So based on what you have learned so far, where is this the case? Because we already have the the address, the MAC address of the router. So the sales now don't need the ARP request. So I think the MAC addresses are now on the ARP cache of the sales. Okay, let's see. Okay, it is okay. S4 file server. Where is that? So it's an ARP. What? Another ARP. TCP/R2 central server. There's also an ARP. Let's see. There's an ARP. HTTP request. And he will receive a reply. So this is just for TCP. So for the connection. Scroll back, note that the first series of cards and there are no apps. Okay. So on the first one is okay, you'll see ARP. But on the last simulation there is an ARP request. Right. Why is this documents? Prior contacting the branch server. Okay. Because the sales know the MAC address of the branch server. So there is no an ARP request for the MAC address of branch server. Then there's an ARP here because so I think it's requesting for the MAC address of R4. Let's see, R4. Let's see. So the target IP is 172. The destination is the 172.16.0.1. Okay, so it is requesting for the MAC address of the default gateway. So that's why there are a series of ARP requests here. Of ARP message. Okay, so it's requesting for the default gateway MAC address. Okay. So next, okay, click the last DNS event, the info tab. Select layer 7, the OSI model. Let's see. Where's the DNS? Okay, so the last DNS. By looking at the information provided, what can be determined by the DNS result. Let's see. So the received, the DNS client receives a DNS response. Contains a resolved IP address for the query domain. Okay. So what's the question? Okay, by looking at the information provided, DNS results. Okay. So the sales, the stuff, so it receive DNS response. Now it contains a resolved IP address for the query domain. Okay. So now I think the prod servers contains the DNS for central server. Okay. So just reply with the IP address of the central server. So as you can see, for the inbound PD details, you have a DNS answer of the IP address of the central server. Okay. So that is the response. So resolving the IP addresses in the domain request, the request for the domain. Okay. So click the inbound PD details. Okay. So we have the address for central server. So 10.10.10.2. So the next server ARPs are events. Okay, click the colored ARP event, click the inbound PD details tab and note the MAC address. Based on the information in the ARP section, what device providing the ARP reply. So let's see. So the ARP reply, the last ARP reply is ARP events. Okay. So target is providing. So I have this ABO1. So I think this is the MAC address of the router. Okay. So the MAC address is ABO1. There's the MAC address is different. ABO1. Okay, ABO1. So it's from the default gateway. Okay, that's the MAC address. Okay, so what device is providing the ARP reply? So we have the default gateway. So the next several events are TCP events. Once again, preparing to set up communications channel. So find the first HTTP event in the event list. So click the colored square box of HTTP event. Highlight layer 2 in the OSI one, but will be determined about destination address. Find the first HTTP event. Let's see. We have the sales. Click the color. Okay, highlight layer 2 and what can be determined about the destination MAC address. So we have destination MAC address is EBO1. Okay, so the destination MAC address of the HTTP is the MAC address of layer 2. Okay, the next up IP address is unicast. Okay. Okay. So the destination MAC address is the router, because we are sending a message to a remote network. So it must first send the message to the router. Okay. So click HTTP event at device R4. Notice that layer 2 contains an Ethernet 2 header. Click HTTP event at device Ethernet. Let's see. This one is at device R2, R4. Okay, HTTP contains Ethernet 2 header. Frame relay. All the in layers. Layer 2 contains an Ethernet 2 header. Okay, now at intranet. What is layer 2? Frame relay. Frame relay. So I think this because of it travels on the one link, no? So wire area network. So notice that there are only 2 active layers as opposed to 3 active layers when moving through the router. This is a one connection which will be discussed in later course. So let's see. What is a frame relay? Frame relay. Okay. So it's a packet switching telecommunication service designed for cost-efficient data transmission for intermittent traffic between LANs and WANs. Okay. Packet switching method. It's packet switching. Packet switching. Packet switching. Okay. So I think that's the last part. This is the last part. So part 3 is examine internet traffic from branch. So in part 3, this activity will clear, then start a new web request that will make use of the internet. So step 1 is set up the traffic capture to an internet web server. Close any video information windows. Okay. So near the middle of the simulation panel in the web browser of CSPC. So set simulation. We'll type the net activity in the web browser. Sales PC. Okay, another DNS. Now click auto capture in approximately 75. Okay. Let's see. Okay, S4. ARP again. For just TCP. Let's pause this. So 2 types of DNS here. Okay. Scroll back to the top of this. Notice that the first series of events are DNS. What do you notice about the number of DNS events? Okay, we have 5 DNS and also use a DNS in web server. think it's traversing this internet. Okay, observe some devices that the DNS events travel through on the way to the DNS server. Where are these devices located? So we have a DNS server. So we are asking this one add PTA. You have a record for data card. So I think we're using the DNS server. What is the DNS server for sales? Let's see if the last DNS event. So observe some of the devices that the DNS events travel through on the way to the DNS server. So we have the branch server S4R4, the ISP, back to branch server. Okay, they're traveling to the ISP tier. Okay, they don't have ISP tier. Then back to branch server. Tier B. Okay, so only for tier A. Okay. So next, click the last DNS event, click the PDU. Okay. What is the address listed for? Netagab PDA. Let's see. So we have DNS answer NS1. No. Name.pta server NS1. We have 216, 14646, and 11216. Let's see. Okay, so it is resolved. So where it came from. So I think this is the DNS server for 8.8.8. Let's see. It's the destination IP address. 172.16.0.3. To the branch server. Okay, they resolved the issues in the NS1. So it's a record first on the NS1. Name, server name. Now they use this detail. Okay. Then the NS1 is the famous netacad. Okay. Now this. Oops. Back. Undo. Setting. Okay, let's see. So the branch server, so it does not resolve the netacad. No, the netacad PT, but this one right here resolve the. So let's see the central server. So I think it does not have the netacad. It has the server for the NS1. Now the NS1 contains the details on the netacad.pk. Just reset this one. Okay. next one is, okay. So when routers move the HTTP event through the network, there are 3 layers active in the both. Continuous. So when routers move HTTP event through the network, there are 3 layers active in layers and outlayers. Routers move it. Yeah, but different. Oh, then it's not resolved because you already know the DNS, right? Luckily, we're on the HTTP now. There are 3 layers active in both the in layers and out layers. How many routers you have? There are 4 and ISP tier A. I didn't see the ISP tier B. Next is click the TCP event as prior to the last TCP event based on the enemy function. That is the purpose of this event. Okay, TCP. See. Purpose of this event. So we're already on here. So there are several more TCP events listed. Locate the TCP event where the last device is IP phone. And the device is okay.
Hindi ka ba? Anak ko?
Hindi. Tuloy. Simulation activity.
Diyan sa started. So high.
Last device is IP phone.
Okay.
Then device is sales. So what is the connection state? So the device has a connection state to closing. The last is, this is just a scoring rubric. So we don't have a scoring track this activity because it's a simulation activity. So I hope this is a user. So that's reason function. What is the purpose of this event? Let's see. So I think this is for the establishment of the HTTP request. So IP header, we have destination. So the device is establishing connection. So prior to the HTTP request, so sales is now have a connection state to establish. So for the last TCP, so it is closing the connection. So that's it.